Hello, hello, my brothers and sisters. This is Garrett Bake, your brother in arms, and welcome to another episode of The Tactical Businessman. Today's topic, anchors. Anchors. Full disclosure, I live in the middle of the desert in Arizona. Sure, we got a couple of lakes, but there's no ocean nearby. So when I was growing up, we had some family friends who invited us down to Mexico. They had a little vacation home. They invited us to go down there, my sister and I. And so I was a teenager at the time. So we go down there with this family, and we're having a good time, hanging out at the beach and whatnot. Well, the father, Jim, ends up with a boat. He's got a little catamaran. And he's like, hey, do you want to go out on the boat? I was like, no. He's like, why not? I said, well, I've never been out on the ocean, and I don't know how deep it is. Like, literally, I was scared. In fact, I am still scared of the ocean. But he's like, come on, I'll come out and I'll take care of you. And I was like, okay, fine. So I jump on this catamaran with him, and we get out to the middle of this bay, and like probably a half mile from shore. Like, there's nothing close. I can't swim, and I'm just freaking out because I'm looking down into the water. I could probably see a foot down, and then who knows how deep it goes. And I'm on this boat thinking, like, what is going on? Like, where am I going? What am I this? What am I that? And he proceeds to start to teach me a little bit about how, boats work with the rudder, with the sails and whatnot. And I was like, how is it that you keep this boat in one place? How is it that you keep it from like moving everywhere? Like, what if you want to come out here and fish? Like, what do you do? And he goes, well, this isn't a boat that's made for fishing, but in that case, you would use an anchor. I was like, okay, get it, anchor. But this one doesn't have an anchor, so can we go back to shore? And he kind of chuckled and took me back. But that was my first time being out on the ocean, and it was scary. Like, I'm not going to lie. There was nothing that was keeping me in one place. Obviously we were using the rudder and the sails to get from, for the shore and out and back. But I started to think, like, what would happen if we didn't have the sail or the rudders? We didn't have an anchor, so what was going to keep us from, like, not drifting out to sea? Like, it freaked me out. It totally freaked me out. Anyway, I want to talk to you about anchors, and here's why. And I wanted to bring up that story to drive home a point. In order to stay in one place, the only way you can do that is an anchor, right? I should say. In order to stay in one place and you're on a boat, you got to deploy some type of anchor. It keeps you, what? It keeps you in one place. So it prevents you from drifting from two different reasons, from the wind or from the current. Now, the interesting thing about the word anchor is it's derived from a Latin word called ancora. And there's different definitions of the word ancora. So I looked it up, right, because I don't speak Latin. So I looked it up, and I was like, okay, what are some of the definitions of this word ancora or anchor? These are some of the words that came up: support, hope, and refuge. Support, hope, and refuge. I was like, okay, I get it. So an anchor is a support, right? It keeps you from moving. It's a hope that you won't get lost, drift, or whatnot. Or it's a refuge, right? From the storm, it keeps you secure in one place, so when the waves and the wind come, you're not going anywhere. But I kind of want to take a different approach today when it comes to anchors. And here's why. That's right, I'm talking to you businessmen. Here we go. Any man who gets into business at some point or another starts to think that the only way he's going to be successful in his business is if what? He focuses on his business first. We call these the struggles, the trials, whatever you want to call it. When we start a business, what do we say? Oh, honey, I just need to sacrifice these few years. I just need to work hard these few years to build this business, and then we'll be set. And then we'll have it made. And 1 year turns into 2, 2 years turns into 5, 5 turns into 10, and 15 years later, you're alone because your wife left you, took the kids, half your money. Oh, by the way, your business is falling apart and you got nothing. But you work 100 hours a week. So why is it that you then don't have what it is that you want? How is it that focusing on your business actually caused your business to destroy the rest of your life, including your business? Like, how does this happen? See, most men, what do they focus on? Oh, okay, I have a sales problem. I have a marketing problem. I have a fulfillment problem. I have a delegation problem. I have whatever. Like, I've got all these problems, a tax problem, a government problem, like whatever you want to call it. I've got all of these problems. And if I take care of these problems over here, then everything else will work out. And so what happens as businessmen? We start to focus on the business solely. And what happens? Your body gets tossed to the side. Relationship with your wife and kids, total backseat. And God, well, I don't even know where God fits in the equation anymore because you don't have time for the other two. You definitely don't have time for God. And so you get hyper-focused or buried in business. Meanwhile, everything else is falling apart. Now, what does that have to do with anchors? Here we go. I want you to imagine that your boat is your business. You got a boat, right? And then you've got 3 things attached to your boat at different lengths. One of them is your anchor. For most of you, it's your relationship with your wife and your kids. Some of you, it's your body, and others, it's your relationship with God. But most of you, it's your family. Now, why do I say that? I say that because what do you try and do with a boat? You try and go somewhere, right? The purpose of the boat is not to stay stationary. It's not to get tossed around by the waves. The purpose of a boat is to go from one place to another, to deliver something, to get somewhere, to make progress. And so you're in your boat trying to make it go faster, trying to make it go somewhere, and it's not going anywhere. Your business, i.e. your boat, isn't going anywhere. It's not working. So what's the first thing that you do? Well, I guess I need a new engine, so let me swap out the engine. So you swap out the engine. Hit the gas. Nope, that didn't work. Well, you know what? Maybe I need a new rudder. A new rudder. That's what I need, new rudder. So you go for the new rudder. Nope, not the new rudder. And you keep trying to replace things on the boat, thinking that there's something wrong with the boat, and that's the reason that you're not getting to where you want to go. But the truth is, the reason that you're not getting to where you want to go is not because of the boat. It's because of the anchor. The anchor that in this case is your family. Your disconnect and your inability to create connection with your family, your unhappiness, your unworthiness, and everything else you have associated with your family is what's keeping your business back. Think about this. How distracted are you at work when things aren't working at home? How unfocused? How angry? Like, I can just go on and on and on down the list. And you've all felt this. You show up for a meeting that you're trying to close this monster deal, but because you and your wife fought earlier in the morning, what happens? You show up and it becomes a shit show. You literally cannot focus on your business. And what happens? You lose the deal. It wasn't because you weren't capable. It wasn't because you didn't have the skills. It wasn't because you didn't have a better deal, but because you were so unfocused that you couldn't close it. You're sitting in the office, you're trying to write a Facebook ad for your next campaign. And all you think about is the fact that you and your son had it out last night. And you're so angry at him. And you sit there and you're trying to put this ad together, and what comes out is a bunch of mush that nobody ends up buying. So you lose money. Don't believe me? Start looking back at the things that haven't worked in your business, and I guarantee you can directly relate it back to your family. And again, we're talking about family, but guess what? We could tie in body. We can tie in your relationship with God. Like, we can tie in all of these. There's one of those 3, predominantly family, but there's one of those 3 that is your anchor, that no matter how hard you try to improve your business, the components of your business, and push forward, you're not going anywhere because you got an anchor dragging on the ground. So how is it that we change this? How is it that we make our anchor an extra motor? Or we make our body a better rudder? Like, how is it that we deploy these different areas of our life to help our business instead of hurt our business? Well, here's where the cheat code comes in. Here's where the position of tactical advantage that I'm always talking about comes in. In order for you to get what you want out of business, you need to focus on these other areas first. Period. You want a better business. You want to make more money. You want to grow. You want to be more focused. Like whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in business right now, you want more of it. You need to be more at home. Like when you leave your house in the morning, completely connected with your wife, like you guys just had sex, your kids are happy, you had breakfast together, you were all laughing, you took the kids to school, like everything's good, and you show up at work, what happens? Like your energy is different. Your focus is different. Everything gets done, not only on time, but ahead of time. You smash business meetings. You're creating on the whiteboard. Like all these things are happening because why? Because you took care of your family first. So instead of being that anchor that drags along the ground and keeps you from moving anywhere, it becomes an extra engine. It becomes a boost, extra gasoline. Same thing goes for your body. If you don't take care of your body, what does it eventually become? An anchor. Like, let's be honest. Who wants to do a business deal with a fat slob? Not many people. You're like, well, he doesn't take care of himself, so how in the hell do I expect him to take care of my business? He doesn't put himself first, so how do I expect him to put me first? And you all know exactly what I'm talking about. So then the question becomes, how is it that we shift our focus, business being the end goal, make more money? How is it that we shift our focus? Well, you need some type of daily routine. Some type of daily routine that helps you focus on these other areas first to create and generate enough power and focus and motivation for business. That's the way it works. So how is it that I've set my life up? Every morning I do something called the Core 4. You may or may not have heard of this. But I will tell you that it forces me to focus on myself, with my body, with God, and with my family first. So I'm completely connected in all these areas. And now, when I come to the office, when I get in a meeting, when I get on a phone call, there's nothing in the back of my head that's bothering me. There's nothing in the back of my mind saying, I'm so mad right now. It's nothing that's distracting me. Nothing that's making me feel not at peace. But I'm super hyper-focused on what it is that I need to accomplish without having to worry about anything else. So, how do we win at life? How do we win the daily war? You have to start putting yourself in a position of tactical advantage. Start taking care of yourself first, those around you first, those most important to you first. And watch what happens to your business. I guarantee you will see a dramatic shift. Now, you want to learn more about the Core 4? Cool. I got something coming out here pretty soon. It's going to be a 30-day Core 4 challenge. I'm going to teach you everything that I do every single day to get what I want out of life. Period. That's it. End of story. And for you men, yes, more sex. See, I had to say that. Get all your guys' attention. Yep, I'm talking to you right now, laughing in the car or screaming. But guess what? I know exactly what you want, which is exactly what I want. I want to get paid more and I want to get laid more. There's a direct correlation between the two. And it comes with taking care of yourself, your relationship with God, and your family first. Period. All right. So follow me on social media. I got some cool stuff coming out, and we will be sharing this stuff with you because, hey, guess what? At the end of the day, I want your life to be the best life that it can be. I want you to be an elite husband, an elite father, and an elite businessman. All right. As always, stay safe, my friends, and we'll see you